As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized SEMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a SEMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the SEMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study Exam. Start studying the SEMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, professional colleagues. Good evening, our students, friend of chartered accountant, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of ICAN on Air, powered by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And like we had on Tuesday, we are having a continuation of our topic today. Today is precisely Thursday, the 18th day of the month of August. And we are out to have the concluding part of what we started on Tuesday. And the topic is accounting for financial instrument, part 2. And it is my pleasure to have with us today, once again, our guest who actually took us back to class. And last week, Tuesday was like a day for me that I remembered sitting down and listening to my lecturer. He's no other person than Mr. Babajide Ibironke, FCA. For those of you just joining us, our students, our professional colleagues, just connecting to us, our guest is an award-winning CFO with 2 decades hands-on experience in finance, strategy, and general management role. He's highly skilled and motivated professional with extensive experience and skills in budgeting, strategic planning, operations finance, marketing finance, and financial reporting. A fellow of ACCA and also fellow of ICAN, fellow of CITN. He was the sole representative of ACCA International Assembly in the United Kingdom from 2011 to 2013, and was elected the chair ACCA Nigeria Advisory Committee 2014 July to November 2020, where he was elected the Global Council member of ACCA. Sincerely speaking, I've been receiving lots of accolades from our participant last Tuesday. And I can tell you that we are set, getting ready to make sure that today is another educative period where you are going to load your background. And for our students, don't let me say I'm giving you an original. This topic, as technical as it is, you are going to see the lecturer coming on board to tell us how it's going to be. In no distance time, I'll be coming in with my guest, and it is my pleasure to always welcome him on board. But before then, let me quickly go on a very short break. And when I'll be coming in, I will definitely come with my guest for today. Stay tuned. I will be right back.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, invites you to participate in the upcoming 52nd Annual Accountants Conference. Theme: Nigeria, Adopting Sustainability for Economic Prosperity. Date: 10th to 14th October 2022. Venue: International Conference Center, Abuja and Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. For inquiries, please call 070-501-80122 or call 090-625-47263. You can also visit our website www.icanig.org. Thank you.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And it is my pleasure to have with us today my great educator, a teacher par excellence, who did justice on Tuesday. And I was like holding my pen to make sure that I listen. Mr. Babajide Bironke, you're welcome on board today's.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
My pleasure. To start with, on this accounting for financial instrument, which is the second segment of it, I want you to, in 2 3 minutes, because I know there are a few audience who are just joining us today, to please give us a recap of our discussion on Tuesday. I know we started with three areas where you talk about measurement, you talk about impairment. You are to go to another one that will be starting with today. Extensively recognition, presentation, disclosure, financial asset, financial liability, equity. Very, very deep. But please, can you give us, maybe in 3 4 minutes, a recap of what we had on Tuesday, sir?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Olusegun, and good evening, colleagues, and you're welcome to today's session. It's indeed my pleasure again to be here. Last week, actually, you started by asking me to explain the IFRS standard. We started by looking at the standard itself. Last week, we looked at why IFRS standard, and I explained that IFRS standard brings transparency, accountability, and efficiency to financial markets around the world. It is a standard that is set by the IFRS Foundation. An IFRS Foundation acts in public interest. So they develop high quality, understandable, and enforceable standard. And they want that standard to be globally accepted accounting. And recently, they have a newly created International Sustainability Standard Board that was charged with the responsibility of setting, the ISSP standard. We call them IFRS Sustainability Disclosure, and recently, and that was sometimes in November last year. So we spoke about how important IFRSs are to the financial accountant, especially those who are charged with responsibility of reporting. We then narrow it down to IFRS 9. I gave some historical background as to why IFRS 9 itself was introduced as a replacement standard to the old IS 39. We went to look at the anomalies with IS 39 that IFRS 9 tried to correct. And I broke down IFRS 9 into three major parts. The first being the classification and measurement, and we dealt extensively with that. And then we went into impairment of financial assets. And of course, we talked about very briefly about edge accounting. The idea is that today go deeper, and if there are questions, I'm more than happy to take those questions on those areas. One thing that we didn't talk about last week, though, extensively, is derivative. Because one of the participants had reached out to me after the session to say he would like to know more about derivative, and I hope that in the course of today's session we will deal with that. Thank you, Mr. Assistant.
Very well, very well, very well. And I can tell you for free that we'll go deeper and deeper. And that's just an insight into what we had on Tuesday. Let me start today on this note, Mr. Ibironke. You dwell so much extensively on financial assets, to some extent, even financial liability. But there is this aspect called edge accounting. Can you please educate our viewers globally? What is edge accounting?
Okay, so like I said, that is a third aspect of financial instruments, IFRS 9. And you see, maybe I would start to explain in this way. Edge accounting is the accounting, methodologies that you apply for edging generally. So maybe I should start before I go to edge accounting to explain what edging is. So hedge, all right, is a risk management techniques, that is designed to ensure that you are able to offset potential risk or an actual risk from an already recognized asset or liability, or unrecognized firm commitment, or highly probable forecast transaction, any net investment that you have in foreign operation. So most entities are exposed to one risk or the other that will affect their reported profit. So for instance, in Nigeria today, everybody is aware that we have exposure to changes in foreign currency. And so if you buy or sell in foreign currency, the exposure to that changes in price of that foreign currency, for instance, will have impact on your reported profit at the end of the period. All right. So these entities, for instance, will try to engage in actions or steps to try to mitigate this risk. So edge accounting is the way in which this risk management practice are reflected in the financial statement of an entity. So in short, companies use hedging instruments to protect a hedged item from a hedged risk. So for example, an airline might take an option to buy an oil at a fixed price at a date in the future in order to protect its forecast purchases of oil from increased prices. So you remember recently we had issues with some of the airlines in Nigeria. They were scheduling their flights because there was scarcity of aviation fuel. So assuming they have all taken on one derivative or the other on those prices of oil, that problem would have been mitigated. So hedge is what you can do to do that. And you use both derivative and non-derivative instruments to hedge. All right. So that is why it is important first and foremost to understand derivative. And then you understand that derivative can be used as a hedging instrument that can help you protect a hedged item from a hedged risk. That is what hedging is all about. So you need to understand hedging first before we talked about hedge accounting.
That is very, very deep, and I'm sure we are coming to the derivative that you are talking about. But I want to pick you on this particular question that given the current global inflationary trend, highly influenced by the Russian and Ukraine war and the attendant turbulence in the forex market, how significant is hedging accounting in relation to asset and profit measurement among multinational companies? Since I have lost the connection with my guest, but while I'll invite him back because of the connectivity problem from his end, let me quickly go on a very short break. And I know he will use this period to quickly launch back to it. On this note, stay tuned. We will be back to give ourselves some of the highlights that has to do with accounting for financial instrument. I will be back shortly.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Welcome back. Like we all know that network can at times be very, very funny, even with the infrastructure that we have. Welcome back, our guest. You can unmute. You're talking about the Russian-Ukraine war, and we can use edge accounting in this foreign that is very volatile. So please continue with your notice. Please unmute. Mr. Bironke, are you there? Well, the network seems to be quite interesting today, but one thing I know is that we will definitely get value even for our program today. And I'm sure our guest is right back. And I can see a lot of people joining us all the way from Port Harcourt, from the north, from the east, from the west, every part you can talk of globally connected. I don't know if our guest is back in the studio. Okay, while we're trying to establish connectivity with our guest, Babatunde Adeshola, I recognize your question, and that will take up as soon as our guest is back online. Also, let me recognize Olushola Ajao Lowo Kiri. You're welcome on board, Bliami. Thank you very much. Adamu Umar, you're welcome. Shola Olowo Kere from Port Harcourt, I recognize you. We'll definitely establish reconnection with our guest for today. I think where he's currently is seems to be few network challenges. And as soon as he launch back, we will definitely get back on board because this topic is germane and it's very much important for us all. But before then, let me also brief us that, like you had at the beginning of the intro, we will be having the annual accountant conference. That announcement I will definitely chip in later when we are rounding up. But I want a situation where we are all fully prepared even for this. While I try to see how I connect back with our guest, I want to just appeal to our guest today. I think our guest is back. Mr. Abironke, can you hear me? Mr. Abironke, can you hear me? Okay, while we're trying to solve that, I will quickly go on another short break so that I can have the good connectivity of our guest today. Please stay tuned, Albert.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, invites you to participate in the upcoming 52nd Annual Accountants Conference. Theme: Nigeria, Adopting Sustainability for Economic Prosperity. Date: 10th to 14th October 2022. Venue: International Conference Center, Abuja and Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. For inquiries, please call 070-501-80122 or call 090-625-47263. You can also visit our website www.icanig.org. Thank you.
Can you hear me? So we can quickly move on. Go to the law again. Do you understand? I can.
Yeah, welcome back. And our guest is back. Because of the network challenges, Mr. Bironke, please let's hear your thoughts about the Russia-Ukraine challenges.
So thank you so much. Can you hear me? An apology
Well,
for my network. Okay,
proceed.
so Ukraine and Russia is just one of those triggers. Risk it happens all the time. You're going to have to protect your assets or even liability in some cases. So it's not just about Ukraine and Russia war. It's about protecting your assets, protecting unrecognized firm commitment. Your recognized asset and liabilities value may go up. And if your subsequent measurement, like I explained last week, is at fair value through profit or loss, such recognized asset or liability will be impacted when such risk crystallizes. So you need to ensure that whenever you are exposed to risk, that will affect your reported profit, either as a result of recognized asset or unrecognized firm commitment, then such an exposure must be protected. And hedging is what you can use. Hedging instrument is what you can use to protect such a situation.
Very good explanation. Let me also say that our viewers are given the opportunity to bring in their question. And I'm already seeing a question from Adeshola, which is prompting to an area that I am going. We keep hearing the word derivatives, derivatives. Can you please explain to us what derivatives is and how they are being accounted for before I come to Adeshola? Mr. Abironke, can you hear me, please? Mr. Abironke, are you there? Can you hear me, please? Network seems to be giving us little challenge today, but one thing I can assure you that intermittently, once we have it, we'll launch back. And let me recognize Fagbola Temitope. You are actually welcome on board while I reestablish connection, even with my guest for today. My Dr. Abel Asay, you are welcome on board. Fidelis, we are very, very happy to host you today. The Paint Rockets assignment, we acknowledge you. As soon as I have the connectivity with my guest, we'll file. Mr. Ibironke, are you back? Are you back? Okay, we're trying to reestablish the connectivity, and sincere apology to viewers for today. I'm sure we all understand that at times the network can just misbehave beyond what we all prepare or plan for. But definitely on Tuesday, it was a very interesting time. And I want to use this opportunity to also recognize Dr. Ruth all the way from Port Harcourt, Edward Ogidingbe, Ganil Said, you are highly welcome and recognized. Sincerely speaking, this is ICAN on Air, where you get value for the 1 hour that you definitely devote to us. I especially recognize my doctor, former DRTS, Dr. Abel, as saying, while I try to re-establish the connectivity with my guest. Let me state here also, I think he's trying to come in on board. As soon as he come in, we move on a very fast pace. Let me also make you understand that the World Congress for Accountants also will be holding this year. I'm sure this internet saw the deliverables on Tuesday and decided to just do what he understands to do. But we'll definitely get over it. I don't know if he's back in the studio so that we can move on. My producer, I'm sure Mr. Abironka is back in the studio. Mr. Abironka says something. Let me hear you, please. Mr. Abironka says something. Let me hear you, please. Okay, I think the network is seriously poor. Just pardon me, I might have to roll it over to have another announcement while I reestablish the connection with Mr. Abironke. My producer, over to you. I'll be back shortly. Okay, while my
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized SEMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a SEMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the SEMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the SEMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, invites you to participate in the upcoming 52nd Annual Accountants Conference. Theme: Nigeria, Adopting Sustainability for Economic Prosperity. Date: 10th to 14th October 2022. Venue: International Conference Center, Abuja and Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. For inquiries, please call 070-501-80122 or call 090-625-47263. You can also visit our website www.icanig.org. Thank you.
Welcome back. While I'm trying to still re-establish connectivity, it seems very, 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 very difficult. I don't want to attribute this to the shutting down of the power system yesterday. Possibly those things have actually affected some of the thing that has to do with the the telecoms sector. The truth of the matter is you can never predict, and that is part of the reason why we said shutting down system might affect lot of things. I sincerely want to apologize to our viewers today, and I'm still in constant connection to see if you can get back our viewers. But if we cannot, we'll come back and make sure that he has the best of it. My producer, I don't know, can I have do we have a guest in now? Do we have it in now? Financial instruments, including that it includes financial assets and financial liability. Can you please take the turn to tell us the benefit of, to our members, students that are very much present here? Take us in depth. What is financial assets? What are financial assets? What are financial liability? Take us deep. Let me feel it.
Okay, you've asked for it, and I'll give it to you. So here is how I like to explain financial instruments. So we all know about investment. So you invest in shares, you invest in debt instruments, you invest in bond. So financial instruments really start from understanding investments and understanding the parties to those investments, because confusion that I've seen with people around financial instruments is that they don't really get to know when to account for some as financial assets and when to account for some as financial liability, and I'm going to explain that today. So financial instruments, I will give you the definition, but before the definition, you need to understand that it's about investment. And to an investment, there is an instrument that is being issued and there is an investor at the other side that is buying that instrument. So I've said four things: the instrument itself, all right, and there are two parties to that investment, all right. So you have the investor, then you have the investee. So the investee is the issuer of the instrument. He issues the instrument. So I can, as a company, I can issue a debt instrument. I can issue an equity instrument. I can even issue what IS 32 called a compound instrument. And what is a compound instrument? A compound instrument is an instrument that combines the component of debt and equity. Think about your convertible loans, for instance. So today, convertible loan is a loan. But when the convertible is eventually converted, it then becomes an ordinary share. But in the process of waiting until the conversion or the redemption day, whichever comes first, there is an equity option that you carry. And that equity option is valued in accordance with provisions in IS 32. So you have an issuer who can issue debt or equity instrument or a compound instrument. At the opposite end, you have an investor who is investing into the issued instrument by the issuer. So there are two parties, and you must understand the side of the divide that you have before you appreciate how to account for it. It's very, very important. So again, it's about the instrument, it's about the investment you're making, or the instrument that you are issuing for the purpose of investment. I hope that is clear. So if that is clear, therefore, IS 32 defines financial instrument as a contract, any contract between entity one and entity two, wherein entity one, that same contract is reported in the book of entity one as a financial asset. The same instrument, the same contract is recorded in the books of entity B as either financial liability or equity instrument. So when you think about financial instrument, there are three component parts: the financial asset part, which is from the investor side of things, and then you have the financial liability or equity instrument from the investee side, which is the issuing part.
Hello, I. Hello, I. Thank you very much, and I sincerely want to apologize of the glitch that we have. Very difficult for us to reestablish connection with our guest, and like I mentioned while I was covering up, duty calls because of the shutdown that happened yesterday. He had to be seconded to a place where he felt there will be connectivity for him to be part of us this evening. It started well, but you know how it is. If you are not in the key areas in this country, it might be very difficult for you to have that connectivity. But he has assured us via the message I got with him that he will be with us on Tuesday next week to do justice to it, heavily loaded to dish out all those things that we are supposed to have today. And on this note, we will be cutting it short in such a way that we will not overburden our guests. But this is the first time we have it, and you and I understand what we faced with the blackout that we had yesterday. And most of the things I just coming up gradually. And our guest happened to be one of the people that work in that sector. And I think they had to go and attend to some things in the remote area with the hope of having good connectivity there. But trust, things like this happen. So let me quickly run through our announcement before we bring the program to a close. Once again, the World Congress for Accountants will be holding from November 18 to 21, all the way at the Geo World Convention Center at Mumbai in India. Every plan is it's ongoing. You can visit our website. You will see the contact people preparing people for this World Congress. Let me tell you, for those that do not know, that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria plays strategic and a fatherly role in IFAC, and they count on us to be part of it. So we encourage our members to prepare and be part of the World Congress for Accountants. The big of it for us here in the country is the 52nd Annual Accountant Conference. And that is something you will not want to miss. It's happening live at the International Conference Center and Sheraton Hotel in Abuja. The 52nd of it, and I can assure you, the 58th president of our great institute is fully prepared to welcome you at Abuja. Let me tell you straight, security are guaranteed. Hotels are out there to make sure that our members enjoy everything that is they deserve at their comfort. When is the date? October 10 to 14 in the year 2022. And for those of us, we can visit our website. But let me just say that the registration is $130 for those that will be there physically. That's exclusive of meal and hotel. That's just for registration. And for those that will be connecting virtually, it is $75,000. And for the young accountants are the young one that are coming up in our profession. Terms and conditions apply to this, and you can get this on our website by having deep understanding. Also, if you look at all our social media handles where we are connected today, the promo for the Annual Accountant Conference is there. Before I round up with my word, let me once again apologize to our esteemed viewers globally and locally. I'm sure the fallout of what happened yesterday, it's what we are just facing today. But I can assure you that our guest has promised, and he has given me his words, that come Tuesday next week, he will be on ground to do justice to the topic that we are discussing, that is accounting for financial instrument. On this note, I will be winding up for today. To hook up with you again next week, Tuesday, I remain your host, Olusegun Okwade. See you next week, Tuesday. Bye for now.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, invites you to participate in the upcoming 52nd Annual Accountants Conference. Theme: Nigeria, Adopting Sustainability for Economic Prosperity. Date: 10th to 14th October 2022. Venue: International Conference Center, Abuja and Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. For inquiries, please call 070-501-80122 or call 090-625-47263. You can also visit our website www.icanig.org. Thank you.